to say something that might be a little controversial, and that is that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. Now, although this may be a little controversial, and although you might not agree with it, it is my First Amendment right to do so. However, under the current state of the United States, we can see that the First Amendment and the freedom of speech has been attacked on a constant basis in multiple instances. The freedom of speech under the First Amendment has been a pillar of the American society since America's founding in 1776. However, under today's scrutiny, this First Amendment, this pillar, has been targeted and broken down. It has been targeted and broken down on the daily. Now, this can be seen through first college campuses implementing safe spaces, and second, big companies such as Facebook banning their users from using their sites. Now, going on to the solution for today's problem, as we can see that it is simply allowing for the complete freedom of speech in between these multiple instances of the freedom of speech being attacked. If we allow for the complete freedom of speech, as opposed to what we're currently seeing, then we will see more progress in the American society as a whole. Now, moving on to my first point and the backstory of safe spaces. According to Concordia University, a group in 1989 called the Gay and Lesbian Urban Explorers actually tried to implement safe spaces in workspaces across America. However, their efforts were futile because of the fact that the time period that they tried to do this in would not allow them to, because their efforts were isolated. Now, moving on to today's version of safe spaces, which we can see on college campuses. It hasn't been until the past few years where college campus safe spaces has gained traction. However, it has caught the attention and is starting to be implemented in major universities across America. Example being those such as Kent State and the University of California at Berkeley. And it is the second one that has prided itself on being the safe space capital of the world. However, it is this university where we see the problems occur. As on March 2nd of 2019, there was an attack on the campus of UC Berkeley, where a conservative activist was physically harmed by a member of the college campus's Antifa group. If it were not for the safe spaces on the University of California at Berkeley's campus, then we could see more conversation between students such as these, and we would see less instances of these students go butting heads in the future. If we allow for the complete freedom of speech, then we allow for more insightful debate, and therefore a better society as a whole. Now, going on to what former President Barack Obama's senior advisor, Van Jones, says about free speech. His idea is that there are two ideas of safe spaces, and that is that one is very good, one is very bad. The first one being that I need to feel safe in my home, I need to feel secure, I need to feel safe from sexual harassment and sexual abuse. The second one is I need to feel safe emotionally. I need to feel safe in my own body. I need to feel safe, feel that my feelings are secure to be a functioning member of society. He states that this is not the way we should look at safe spaces in the American society, though. This second one is what is harming the American society. So when looking at this, we need to see that applying complete freedom of speech will allow for the best progress to be made in the American society. Now, going on to my second point, which is big tech companies banning their users. We can see that there are dark times for multiple users on these sites, and most of these bannings being of conservative viewers. The bannings have come without explanation. Now, what this does when bannings happen without explanation it is safe to assume these users are being banned because of their conservative-leaning views, because they have no explanation as to why they were actually banned. And big tech companies, their CEOs have been under scrutiny from Congress as to why their companies are doing this, as Mark Zuckerberg being an example of one of these CEOs who has had to testify in front of Congress. There is actually a new wave of bannings that is occurring. According to BBC on May 3rd, 2019, there have been a new wave of bannings, including Louis Farrakhan, Milo Yiannopoulos, and others who are right-leaning and who have been banned from Facebook only. And moving on to the solution of today's problem, which is the Supreme Court should allow for the complete freedom of speech, which they have done in the past, where they have ruled that free speech should be, the definition of free speech is that anything can be said as long as it does not incite direct violence. Applying this to today's problem, according to an LA Times editor, on June 2017, he says that the courts do not decide whether something is under the free speech exception or not. They don't decide this through weighing the benefits or the harms. They decide this whether it is under the Constitution for them to say so. So when we see safe spaces being implemented and big tech companies banning their users, we need to see that this is only bringing the society back a step, and we are only going back to the days where you would be executed by the Catholic Church for speaking out against them. So therefore, we need to allow for free speech in America. Thank you.